arithmetic sequences is a sequence in which the difference of a sequence arithmetic sequence is a sequence in which the difference between any two consecutive numbers is constant. So the sequence in which the difference between any two consecutive numbers is constant. Okay, so that's talking about if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right, the difference between all those numbers is 1, right? You go from 1 to 2 is 1, 2 to 3 is another 1, right? You can do the same thing as going, 3, 6, 9, 12, right? The difference between all those is 3, right? And so you're trying to find that common number. Okay, which is your common difference here? That's the number or difference, the numerical difference. Numerical difference. We call that the between the numbers. The numerical difference between the numbers. Alright, so what we want to do on this identifying is we want to try to determine, is there a common difference between these numbers? If so, what is it? Okay. So if we look at number 1, right, we go from 1 to 5 to 9 to 13. Okay, is there a common difference? Is there a number in between those consecutive numbers that's there every time? Right, so if we look at this, we could say 5 minus 1 is what? 4, right? So in between 1 and 5 is 4. Okay, is the number in between 5 and 9 also 4? Yes or no? Yes. Right? 9 and 13 is 4. So yes, there's a common difference here. So yes, and D equals 4. Okay, let's look at number 2. So from number 2, to get from 1 to 3, you would have the common difference of 2, right? So you would have 2 in between, right? From 3 to 5, you would also have 2 in between. But look here, right? From 5 to 8, what's the difference between 5 and 8? 3, right? So is that number the same the whole way through?
No.
No, right? So there is not a common difference for number 2, but there was for number 1. Okay, look at number 3. Okay, kind of go in the opposite direction. Between 8 and 6 would be 2, right? 6 and 4 would be 2. 4 and 2 would be 2. So is there a common difference?
No.
There is. What is that number though? 2. Okay, think about which direction we're going. This number is actually negative 2, right? Negative 2 because we're going down. Okay, so yes, but D is equal to negative 2. Okay, now think about number 4. All right, you go from negative 5 to negative 8. That would be subtracting 3. From negative 8 to negative 11, that would be subtracting 3. Okay, from negative 11 to negative 14 would be subtracting 3. Okay, so is there a common difference for number 4? Yes. Where D is negative 3. Okay, now let's think about this. Between 5 and 10, that difference would be adding 5. Right? From 10 to 20 would be 10. Okay, so we already know that this doesn't work. Okay, so this is no. Okay, but you'll notice here that between 5 and 10 you can multiply by 2. 10 and 20 you can multiply by 2. 20 and 40 you would multiply by 2. That's not what we're talking about today. That is a different type of sequence that you'll see when we do the exponential functions. Okay, so no, not for the arithmetic, but it would be what we call an exponential sequence or a geometric sequence. Okay. Alright, and then we go, 7, 6, 5, 4. Okay, so between 7 to 6, you'd be subtracting 1. From 6 to 5, subtract 1. 5 to 4, subtract 1. Okay, so yes, we have a common difference of -1. Okay, any questions on that?
Nope, easy peasy. Easy peasy.
Alright, sweet. Anybody need more time writing it down? Alright, so let's look at, what if we needed to continue these sequences out? Okay, so from 9 to 13 to 17 to 21, what would we do to continue these out? Okay, so from 9 to 13, you would be adding 4. From 13 to 17, you'd be adding 4. From 17 to 21, you'd be adding 4. So that's the first thing you need to check. Make sure it's a sequence. What is that number or common difference? Okay, now from 21 plus 4 would give me
25.
25. 25 plus 4 would be 29. 29 plus 4 would be
33.
33. Great job. Okay, so we're extending that out. Okay, now think about 5, 2, -1, -4. What are we doing? 5 to 2, we're subtracting 3. From 2 to -1, we're subtracting 3. From -1 to -4, subtracting 3. Okay, so to continue that out, -4 minus 3 will be
-7.
-7. -7 minus 3, -10. -10.
-13.
Thank you. Very eager today, aren't we?
Oh, you're more definitely.
Alright, number 9. Okay, so we go from -8 to 2. Okay, we would be adding 6. Okay, from -2 to 4, adding 6. From 4 to 10, be adding 6. Okay, so 10 plus 6 would be 16. 16 plus 6, 22.
22, yeah.
Okay, 22 plus 6 would be 28. Okay, any questions on 7, 8, 9?
No.
Alright, so really the goal of what we're trying to do today is figure out what if we needed to find the 47th term of the sequence, right? This would be term 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What if we needed to know what the 47th was? Okay, so that's where we're going to use our formula, a to the n, so you got a subscript n. That's just telling you whatever this number is, that's the number that we're looking for. Okay, that's going to be equal to your difference d, right? That's what we were trying to find on 1 through 9, your difference d, times the number you're looking for, minus 1, okay? The number you're looking for, minus 1, plus your first term, which is a1, okay? So, d is equal to your difference, or we should probably write common difference. Write this down. All right, if you don't have this formula, you're going to struggle. Okay, and then a1 is your first term. Okay, whatever that very first number is. Okay, first term here is what? What's my first term right here? -8. First term here is
5.
and here is 9. Okay, that will be a1 for each of those. So we want to practice using this formula, okay, to find the 19th term. Now, could you just do this on and on and on until you got to 19? You go 37, right? 41, blah 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 blah. You can do that, right? But it's going to take a lot of time, right? We can save some time by using this formula. Okay, so let's look. All right, we're trying to find, our goal is to find the 19th term, A19, okay? So your 19th term, A19, is going to be equal to whatever your difference is, okay? 7 to 13 is going to be 6, okay? 13 to 9 is 6, 19 to 25 is 6. So our difference, our common difference is 6, a positive 6. So that's what you would need to plug in for D, right? You're going to start off with A19 is equal to 6 times the number we're looking for minus 1. Okay, what's the number we're looking for? What term? 19. Okay, 19 minus one would be 18, right? And then we wanna add that to our first term, A1, which is 7. Okay, so you got 6 times 18. Okay, 6 times 18
Where'd you get 18 from?
your first term minus 1.
First time minus 1. What's the first time?
Or no, I'm sorry, not first term, it's 19 here. All right, so we're trying to find there. Okay,
First, now.
all right, so plug that in.
115.
What you got? 115. Okay, so this is equal to 115. Okay, so A, your 19th term is equal to 115.
Vote, man. Cool.
Okay, any questions there? Any questions there? All right, so number 11, okay, number 11, we've got what? Okay, we've got a common difference of what? What is D equal to? Huh? What's D equal to, my common difference? How do I get from 30 to 26?
Vote.
What kind of 4?
Negative vote.
Minus 4. Okay, and that continues out from 26 to 22, subtract 4. 22 to 18, subtract 4. Okay, still looking for my 19th term. Okay, so A19 is equal to my common difference, negative 4, times, okay, whatever term I'm looking for, 19 minus 1, so that's 18, plus my first term,
30.
which is 30. Okay, that gets plugged in the calculator, you're gonna get what? Huh? Negative 42. Okay, so that 19th term, if you continue that out, would be negative 42. Okay, everybody with me here? Understand?
Yeah, we do.
All right, so let's take a look at some more problems here. Okay, not too many. All right, number 12. Okay, what's my common difference? How do I get from negative 11 to negative 8?
3.
Add 3, add 3. Okay, so D is equal to 3. Okay, let's change this up because I don't want to use 19 every time and then you think that 18 is always supposed to be what's in the parentheses. So let's say here I want to find the 30th term. Okay, so I want to see A30, and that's going to be equal to, okay, my difference 3 times N minus 1. Okay, what's N minus 1? N minus 1. What's N for this problem? The 30th term. All right, so that minus 1 would be 29. 30 minus 1. Okay, and then we add our first term, which is negative 11. So plus the negative 11, that's the same thing as
76.
as minus 11. Okay, you got 76? Yes? Anybody else agree?
Hold up, let me pop it in real quick, make sure you're right.
Okay, I'm doing different problems now, so I don't have my key to make sure.
36, you're right.
76 is right. So we need somebody to shout out the answer and then somebody to back them up, is what we're looking for. All right, what if I needed to find the, what term? What term am I looking for?
112.
112, what's up? On what? Are you looking at the key? Okay, I'm doing different problems in the key. The key looks for the 19th term. I didn't want to do the 19th term every time, so I changed it up and did the 30th term. Okay, so the, turn around. So the key is gonna go through the 19th term the whole way through. I'm not doing that, okay? All right, so here we're looking for the 112th term, okay, so I'm taking, what is my difference? I'm adding 2 each time, so D is equal to 2. Okay, so we've got 2 times N minus 1, okay, 111. Okay, and then plus my first term, which is
Negative 2.
negative 2, same thing as minus 2.
That's 220.
Okay, and you end up with 220. So A 112 is equal to 220. Now, how much easier is that compared to continuing that adding to 112 times. Is that much easier? Yeah. Okay, so let's say, what if I wanna find the 30th term? Okay, so we would say, what's my difference? I'm subtracting by 5 each time, so D is equal to -5. So we end up with -5 times n minus 1, which is 29.
29.
Yep, 30 minus 1 is 29. Okay, and then my first term, which is -16. Okay, A30 is equal to what? -161. Anybody else agree?
Hold up, big dog. Yup. What was that?
161. Alright. Okay, let's do something a little bit smaller, maybe here. What if I wanna find the 9th term, A9? Okay, we gotta find my difference, so how do I get from 101 to 92? You're subtracting what?
11. No, it ain't. 12. No, it ain't. 12.
Somebody just 9, right? All you have to do to find that number is say 101 minus 92. Okay, and then whatever that number is what you got. And then make sure it works for the rest of them. So D is equal to -9, so -9 times n minus 1. What term am I looking for here? What's my n? 9, so we need 8 in the parentheses, n minus 1. Okay, and then plus my first term, which is 101. Okay, so
29.
our 9th term is equal to what?
29.
29. Okay. Any questions on 12 through 15? Alright, let's move on and look at 16, these last two here. 16, that's gonna be too much room. Alright. So you visit the Grand Canyon. Okay, visit the Grand Canyon, you drop the penny off the edge of the cliff. The distance the penny will fall is 16 feet for the first second, okay, 48 feet in the next second, and then 80 feet in the third, okay, so on and so forth. Okay, so write the formula to represent this sequence. Okay, so we know in the first second we dropped 16 feet. The next second we dropped how much?
48.
48. Then the third second we did
80.
80. Okay, so what is my difference between 16, 48, and 80? What happens each time? Okay, we know my first term, A1, is what? 16. Okay, so how do I find out what my D is? Okay, 16 and 48. Can you just take 48 minus 16 and find that number? Yes, somebody do it. We got what?
32.
32. Okay, double check to make sure it works for your next term. So do 80 minus 42 if it's, 80 minus 48. If that equals 32, then you know you work, right? That works. So that's what my difference is. Okay, so for us to write our formula for any number that they want to look for, so AN, whatever term they want to look for, we could use this formula of our common difference, which is adding 32. So 32 times n minus 1, that term they're looking for, minus 1, plus my first term, which is 16. Okay, so when it asks us how far will the penny have traveled after 6 seconds, that's what term they're looking for. So we're looking for A6 is equal to 32 times 6 minus 1, which is 5, and then plus 16. Okay, so 32 times 5 plus 6. What do we end up with? Anybody? Yeah, just plug it in the calculator. I guess I'm just staring down. Huh? 166. I think it's 76, right? Is it 66? Okay. Right. 166. Okay, so if you want to be completely correct on this, you would need to add what to the end? What are we talking about? How far on a distance, which is what?
Negative. No.
What is our unit?
Feet.
Feet. So 166 feet. questions on that? Alright, so let's look at, 17. Okay, so the total bank loan, for Sarah's new car is $15,265. The bank automatically withdraws $295 each month to pay off the car. Okay, so out of those two numbers, which one do you think your common difference is gonna be? The $295, right, because that's going out each month and that's gonna stay the same. So you've got your first number, your first term, A1, which is $15,265, okay? And then your common difference, which is, all right, think about what this is actually talking about, right? So withdrawal would be gaining or losing money? You'd be losing money, right? So this would be minus 295.80, right? Right, so for our formula, if we're trying to find a certain month, AN, that we don't know of yet, right? We would have our first term, which is 15,265, okay, times N minus 1, and then our, I'm sorry, I wrote that wrong, erase it. Our common difference, which is negative 295.80, okay, times, I wrote that was like 86, 80, okay, times N minus 1, and then plus your first term, which is 15,265. Okay, there's your general formula, for this problem. Now what it wants to know is what is our balance of the loan after 2 years, okay? So think about what the problem asks. Okay, the problem says each month, okay, and then down here it talks about 2 years. Okay, so would you plug in 2 for N? No, what would you need to plug in? 24, right? Because 12 months in a year, 2 years, 24 times 12, 12 times 2 is 24, right? So you would have A 24 is equal to, okay, negative 295.80 times 24 minus 1, which is 23, okay, and then plus 15,265. Okay, we'll find the balance after 2 years. Right, so somebody plug that in, 2 people at least. Don't just sit there. Alright, so after 2 years, what's our available balance? What you got?
I got two thousand. No, that close to the one.
Alright, did you do negative 295 or did you do
Oh,
positive?
dang, I didn't do negative.
Alright, what you got, come on? I see you over there, what you got? Did it wrong? What you got? 8,000 what?
461.6.
Is that what you got? 8,000 what? Say it again.
461.6.
Alright, good deal. Okay. So, that's a problem. Any questions there? Alright, 3 assignments on Khan Academy today. Okay, 3 assignments on Khan Academy today.